Ohio State Buckeyes versus the third-ranked Iowa Hawkeyes. Hello, everybody. I'm Doug Brown with Tim Johnson, and it's a big showdown weekend. And tonight we have Ohio State. Tomorrow night at the same time, 9 o'clock, Iowa State, Hilton in Ames. Iowa both nights. Here we are, TJ, between two teams who have superb talent and for some reason haven't quite put it together.
Well, yes, it's been a really interesting year because I thought when I first saw the schedule, I thought this would be a dual meet to determine number one. What's interesting is they're both ranked lower than they were at the beginning of the year. Iowa, of course, ranked number one and favored. Ohio State, with 3 All-Americans returning and bringing some red shirts out, really had some high expectations this year.
They do have all their people now, both teams. What happened?
Well, if the coaches knew that answer, they'd feel a lot better, too. It's been a very confusing year. It's late February, and the lineups aren't set. That's almost unheard of, and both coaches said it could be the day of the Big Tens when they're set.
Well, let's talk about Russ Hellickson here and his Buckeyes, because there's no doubt up and down the lineup, he has some of the most superbly talented people in the country.
Well, Russ Hellickson has had a lot of individual national champions, but he's never had an NCAA team championship. He thought this year, I've got the potential, I've got the talent, but the team just hasn't gelled. But there's no denying the individual talent. And leading the way with that individual talent is a guy by the name of Kevin Randleman, one of the top athletes in the sport. He was a 177-pound national champion. He's got power, quickness, he's got strength, and look at that double leg. I think the football coach missed something there at Ohio State. Kevin Randleman is one of the best. And at 190 pounds, they have a young man named Rex Holman. Rex is an Ohio athlete that went to Arizona State but then came back to Ohio State, was an All-American last year, and he is becoming a consistent winner. Well, Russ Hellickson really wishes the rest of his lineup was as consistent as those two.
Well, you know, I'll tell you what, Dan Gable might say the same thing, because here we are, the middle of February. For the first time, he's unsure about 4 weights. Today, for instance, Matt Narum weighed in at 167 pounds. Now, will he go there or will he go up? If he goes at 67, what will happen to Keith Trammell? Will he go up to 77? Will he go down to 58? What? Last week there was a change too, if you remember. Troy Steiner came down from the weight 142 where he won the national title last year. Look at this tremendous front headlock as he comes around on Marco Sanchez for a win 6-3 over the Arizona State man. He is at 34 now, and he's going to have to be tougher on his feet than he's been, because he's up against a young man named Yates from Ohio State who is tremendous on his feet. And then at 42, there's the freshman Lincoln McIlravy. Already he has that Iowa style. And late in his match against Steve St. John, another outstanding freshman, he came through with a takedown and a win 9-6 to pull that one out. And both those teams, both those men are going to have to win for Iowa tonight for them to do well. There are some big questions, Tim, between the people on both of these teams, and I think we're going to have them answered tonight. It's Ohio State and Iowa next on Iowa Public Television.
Where Americans come to know themselves and their world.
Iowa Public Television, a resource for Iowa's future.
We're back at Carver Hawkeye Arena in Iowa City, Iowa, for the match between the Ohio State Buckeyes and the third-ranked Iowa Hawkeyes in a series that the Hawks lead 22-2. Last year's score was a big one. You can see that Iowa has done very well against Big Ten teams, 26 in a row against Big Ten competition in dual meets. That young man there shows where Iowa has stood in the Big Ten for the last years since Dan Gable has been here. Now, there's some question about who's going to be wrestling at certain weights. Do you see Eleanor Stryker against DeSabato? That's the 34 will be a great match. Ohio State is uncertain at 42. Into the upper weights, there is some uncertainty for Iowa at 67, and you might even say 77, because Trammell or Narum could both go up there. And there should be some terrific matches up and down these 10 weights tonight between Ohio State and Iowa. And of course, they're looking for seedings too, aren't they? Max, here is Mike Exline, the referee tonight. He's from Charles City, Iowa. You've seen him a number of times. on our Iowa Public Television College Wrestling Series. Mike Exline, he was out there with the captains, flipping to see who would have the first choice in the second period in the first match, and then they'd alternate throughout the night. Ohio State, Russ Hellickson there, getting his 118-pounder Sean Conyers ready. He's looking forward to this. Iowa will be favored here at 118 pounds, and then Ohio State will be favored at 126. You have to favor Troy Steiner at 134, but we've seen Dunyasha yet, TJ, in the national duels, and we know he may have the kind of style to give Troy Steiner a lot of trouble if Steiner has trouble with him on the feet.
Well, that's where he's got to keep him, but let's get into 118 right now. This is
undefeated Chad ZAPUTIL, ranked #1 from Mystic, Iowa Centerville High School against Sean Conyers. Conyers has a losing record. ZAPUTIL believes, he knows he has to go out there and get scores here. He wants to pile it up if he can against Ohio State in this opening match.
That's right, Doug. Dan Gable feels he has respect for this Ohio State team and the talent they have, and at 118 he says we need to get out there and get started fast. And on the other side of it, Russ Hellickson says, you know, we just have to avoid having that huge loss and build up those 5- and 6-point wins.
But immediately, there Barsgar goes Chad ZAPUTIL, and he hits the first points. Takedown, 2-0. With Tim Johnson, I'm Doug Brown. We're at Carver Hawkeye Arena on Iowa Public Television tonight. Ohio State against Iowa. 3-minute first period, of course, followed by 2 minutes in the second period and 2 in the third, and they go on their feet at the start of the first period. ZAPUTIL trying to get advantage time on top.
Look at, he sets this up with the head down. He brings the head and the knee together, gets into that single leg there, and just kind of.
Okay, let's get set, Red.
It's a nice move.
Yeah, drives him through, kind of behind the leg double there.
Yeah, it's almost like a very high ankle pick.
Drove him through with his shoulder.
Chad ZAPUTIL in the top position, leading 2-0.
Chad ZAPUTIL has become a better rider the last couple of years, more dominating. A couple of years ago, he was just a basic rider, but you know that Chad's been able to dominate in all parts of the mat this year.
And he let Conyers go for a 1-point escape in order to get more takedown points. He believes in himself on the feet.
ZAPUTIL, besides being good offensively, he likes to work the front headlock to where he is. He's very difficult to penetrate on.
Nope. We're up. Both up. Move in. Let's go.
Back to the center now. That's Russ Hellickson.
Sean Conyers, as he said, is a sophomore. He's out of Dayton, Ohio, Trotwood Madison High School, and this is his first year as a full-time starter at 118.
He just got hit for a passivity. First time it's a warning, second time it's a penalty. And here comes Chad ZAPUTIL around for his second takedown, takes the lead 4-1. We're in the last minute of the 3-minute first period.
Center.
ZAPUTIL.
Little snap and float, and he just gets around on Conyers there and gets the 2 points.
Now it'll be interesting to see if he lets him go right away.
Optional start.
He is. He's going to use the international start. That'll give him a chance to go onto the feet again and try for another takedown. 4-2 now after that escape.
That's one thing. ZAPUTIL doesn't want to just hang on the head. He's so good and explosive. He can shoot from outside. He can set him up and go. But the one thing that he doesn't want to do is just go head to head there and let the other let his opponent kind of slow down the match.
Conyers working on the head, but around comes ZAPUTIL. He doesn't have the takedown yet.
But he's behind the elbow, and if he can stay in bounds, he can complete it.
You can hear the official Mike Exline saying he doesn't have control yet. There he does. With 15 seconds to go in the period.
Red, you down.
(6-2) in favor of the Hawkeye Chad ZAPUTIL. He wants it. He wants a technical fall here or a pin if he could get it. At least a major decision, because this is one where Iowa is definitely favored. #1 against Conyers, who has a losing record. A junior, I just say senior?
I think he is a senior.
Yeah, he is. He is.
Yeah.
We're looking at a discrepancy in the Iowa
Red has
book
first
on
choice.
Zaputil. He's a senior.
First.
That's the end of the first period, 6-2. You notice he didn't let Conyers out. There was no escape at the end of that one.
Chad Zaputil, Mystic, Iowa, Centerville High School. We've said that a lot over the last 3 years, Doug, and like a lot of top teams, Iowa's had 118-pounders stay around for a while, and this is what's happened with Chad Zaputil, the two-time All-American, going for his third and trying to win a national championship this year.
Well, he wasn't under there very long.
No.
He's out, 7-2. On the feet. Now we see him work the head. Underarm. That's his setup. What is he going to do with it?
Snap and go. Near side cradle to a takedown.
9-2.
Kind of sets it up with that head and the ribs there.
Hustle, hustle, hustle. Right here, right here.
That's Dan Gable. He came out to the edge of the mat to yell something out. As a matter of fact, he was able to spend quite a bit of time out there because Conyers took a few seconds of, I don't know, injury timeout, you would say, at the edge, and that allowed Gable to talk to him. International start again. Let's Conyers out. It's 9-3.
Well, one of the things that Coach Gable does not want to happen here is to have anything less than a technical fall. He doesn't want Conyers to be able to hang on or hang around right here, and so he's telling Zaputil, I want you to get those points now.
Now there is passivity against Conyers with his back to the edge, and this time it's a point. So it's 10-3. He doesn't want to give those up. That makes it easy. Here comes that snap down again. Fifth takedown for Zaputil, 12-3. He's worked that snap down, coming around.
Right here, he's underneath now. He snaps the head, floats around behind the elbow for the 2 points.
12-3.
Does a nice job of switching and putting pressure on the head and then coming around the opposite side and get behind the elbow.
Now 12-4 after the international start and the escape. Single leg by Zaputil. Can he take him down here? High leg. Kick it out. 2. 14-4. We have 39 seconds again. We're going to go on the international takedown. Makes it 14-5 international start.
See, this is important to get a takedown here because it takes, when you're trading takedowns, you're giving them a point, you're getting 2, so you're just gaining 1 each time. Well, that's going to take about, that's 11-point lead right now. He's got riding time, so that's a 12-point lead, so he's got a few more takedowns to, about 3 more takedowns to give after he gives the 1 point.
As we tell you somewhere early in every meet, that riding time doesn't show up on the scoreboard until after the match is over, but it goes to any man, either man, who has a point more, a minute more of riding time on top, advantage time, than his opponent. 16-5 at the end of the second period. Now those are the Iowa-ranked wrestlers. They now have 7 because Lincoln McIlravy got into the top 12 in this last week.
Didn't take him long.
No. Catalano is not in the lineup tonight at 58, but he's ranked 10th.
Neutral red.
This time Conyers started underneath.
Yeah, he got a free point there by choosing down, and then Zaputil has
just let him out.
Let him out and gets his 2 points.
And here's Zaputil again for 2 more, 18-6. He's heading for a technical fall here. 15 points more than his opponent. They'll stop the match right there.
But he needs to let him go, see, and you're not going to see Conyers do much there on the bottom and even holding on to wrists and everything, trying to avoid that technical fall. Technical fall is hard to get. That's why they give so many points for it. It's only 1 less than a pin. He's going for that 5-point victory, or at least to secure it before he goes for the fall.
18-7.
Red.
There is a warning again, a penalty again against Conyers, 19-7. That's
and 2 takedowns.
21-7. Well, I'm not sure that's why they stopped it, because they called somebody whistled as a technical fall, but it's not yet.
It's not a technical fall yet. They got a little excited.
2 takedown. That's 15 points.
Oh.
That's the third stalling call. That was 2.
Oh, that was his third stalling. Well, actually, it wasn't.
I don't think so. I think the referee indicated it was, but I think it was only his second.
No, so it's we're going to have to come back and wrestle some more.
Just one, right? Fine. Nope, that's fine. Right? Score's right. Okay, here we go.
21-7.
You're down. You're down.
So Conyers will start in the down position. 21-7 is the score.
Optional start.
Now he'll let Conyers out, and if he takes him down here, then it will be the end, because it'll be 15 points. 1:06 to go. He's almost certain to do it.
He'd like to take him down to his back, try to get the extra point for the team.
Yes, because if he takes him down to the back in a near fall position, they'll let the near fall position go all the way out.
See, he's working for the underhook, and he's going to look for a sweep or some kind of throw.
And Conyers knows it. Now he decides he'll just go for the takedown.
He's going to try to pull him back in.
He did. That's it. A technical fall in 6 minutes, 27 seconds for Chad Zaputil, and it is now 5-0 in favor of the Hawkeyes against the Buckeyes. And we go to 126 pounds. Who was out here for Iowa? It's Kent Stryker.
No, it's Eric Aylen.
It's Eric Aylen. Yes, it's Eric Aylen back in the lineup again this week. Sophomore from Belle Plaine against Adam DeSabato, senior from Columbus, Ohio, ranked number 3 in the country. So this is where the Buckeyes would like to get some points back.
Well, he's a very talented wrestler, and he could become one of the first 3-time All-American for Ohio State because of the weight. Obviously, Kevin Randleman later is going for his 3rd All-American placing, but
yes, he redshirted last year. He did not wrestle, but 2 years ago and in 1990, he was an NCAA All-American.
He always performs when it counts. At the end of the year, he's been in there to place. Adam DeSabato has. And Eric Aylen, of course, very successful high school wrestler out of Belle Plaine, 3-time state champion. They're only 3-time state champion. And he's in the Hawkeye lineup, but this is one of those undecided weights, Doug.
Interesting here, you see the aggressor here has been DeSabato.
I think what's interesting right now is those that are in those 4 undecided weights for Dan Gable, it depends how they perform. The pressure's on the wrestlers. How they perform indicates and dictates whether or not they're going to be on the team.
DeSabato on the outside single leg, turns it into a neat takedown, goes up 2-0.
He dropped nicely into that single leg.
Turned the corner very nicely there, and now he's in the up position. This is DeSabato. Does like to wrestle, we're told, on his feet a little better than on the mat, but he's very good here in this top position too. He leads 2-0 with half the first period gone. There you see him let his man go. 2-1. Eric Aylen, 3-time high school champion at Belle Plaine High School, just across on Interstate 80 and up a little bit from Iowa City. Here comes a spin around by DeSabato, and he is doing the same thing to Aylen that Zaputil did to Conyers.
Well, there is no way that Aylen should be letting DeSabato in on the legs so easily. Right there, DeSabato's doing a nice job. He lowers his level, he attacks the legs very nicely.
Now cover, Red.
And another takedown makes it 6-2. He's in there for 3 big ones. 6-3 after that escape. It's these first 2 weights, one team or the other has proved a real advantage, and they're playing takedown and let them up. Tough front headlock here.
With the chin right there and the shoulder pressure, he comes around. Aylen basically lets him go around him.
8-3. We're sort of evening up these takedowns.
No.
And the score is 8-3 in favor of Adam DeSabato.
You know, it's interesting, Alan. What happens is he's been on the sidelines for a couple of months thinking he's not going to wrestle until a few weeks ago, and that really plays on your psyche, and you're not really focused on being in the lineup. And you can tell that when Stryker was in the lineup until he had some problems, and now if he can get his neck back together, he's going to be trying to get back in the lineup himself.
Again, in that single, DeSabato, and he scores again, makes it now 10-4. Our character generator is giving us a little trouble right now, so we'll keep that score in front of you. You won't see it on the screen just right away. There is the time remaining in the first period. 10-4 in favor of DeSabato, the Buckeye in the red and gray. A big first period for DeSabato.
Right in here on the single, he uses his head right there to dump Alan down to his back there and almost caught him. He's really having his way with Eric Elan.
10-4 in the first period. He got 5 takedowns. Now, ZAPUTIL, for instance, he had 10 takedowns, and already DeSabato has 5. He's out.
DeSabato out of Columbus, Ohio, Bishop Ready High School. He's really had a nice career, and of course in high school he was a 2-time Ohio State champion, and he was also an international. He's very proficient at the international style also.
Here he comes again. That single leg on his opponent's left leg. Now goes to the bear hug, and he might take Alan to his back. He does. He's getting back points here. He has 2 for a takedown.
Well, he's completely handling Alan here. He's really just looks like a man and a boy right now, and it looks like somebody that's on a mission. DeSabato right here with the body lock, the bear hug right there. Now, what he does nicely here is he keeps his chest pressure so that Elan cannot turn back to his belly. Nice job by DeSabato.
It was a 2-point near fall and a 4-point move then because he did not hold his man for more than 5 seconds. 15-5 after the escape for Stryker. 15-5 is the score. Again, we tell you, there we are. We got our characters back, and you can see the score, 15-5. And 5-0 Iowa after the technical fall at 118 for ZAPUTIL.
Well, if you've heard the word DeSabato or the name DeSabato before in wrestling, that's not unusual. All 5 of Adam's brothers have also been state high school wrestling champions. They've wrestled for colleges. It's quite a wrestling family, the DeSabato
Tough double leg, and he's now up by 12.
His brother Dominique is also on the Ohio State team and isn't in the lineup tonight.
Here again is the internationally optional start. Hands on the back, makes it 17-6 after the escape.
Well, when you think about the score and you think about the way this has gone, it's almost
and here's
exactly
DeSabato again, looking for a fall.
Yeah, it's like a reversal of the 118-pound match. This time, Ohio State's favor.
Well, he counted that a 4-point call, and that's a technical fall.
15.
That's a technical fall. 21-6.
DeSabato wins by technical fall, 21-6.
So we'll just start over again after the first 2 weights. They trade technical falls. That was with 34 seconds left in the second period.
That was quite a job by Adam DeSabato.
4 minutes and 26 seconds. A lot of scoring in a short time.
This is a big match here coming up.
This is really a big one. You have Troy Steiner, enormously talented. Now watch him on his feet. He knows that he wants to be more aggressive than he's been lately on his feet. He has to be because DUNYASHA Yates, a very explosive 134-pounder, that's what Steiner needs to do, because Yates is very quick on his feet. We saw him in the national duels, beat some awfully good people. He also lost there to Bill Zadig, who at that time was the Hawkeye at this weight, 134.
Well, Yates is a really interesting story here. He went to Purdue to play football and actually got the game football against Notre Dame for running for over 100 yards on kickoff returns, etc. Ohio State just thought he was too small to play football, and then things didn't work out at Purdue, and he came back to Ohio State, walked into Russ Hellickson's office, said, "I want to wrestle for you," and he worked his way into, made it back into school, and you know, he reminds you a lot of Randleman right there. He's really power-packed, and they say they both run about 4.3. I shouldn't say run, sprint about 4.340. So
there's that explosiveness and a takedown for Yates. And this is what we were telling you about. That's a takedown for Dunyasha Yetz. We've seen Steiner lose the first takedown a number of times lately.
Out of bounds, man.
Look at this. He just ducks under and drops to the double leg. Quickness, turns the corner nice, as you said, Doug. He's quick. If he can get the takedowns and control the tempo, stay on his feet, he's got Steiner in trouble.
Well, he knows, too, that Steiner is very tough on top, but to get on top, you have to take somebody down, and there is a near fall. Is it called? No. And the Ohio State bench, of course, doesn't like that, but it was an impressive throw by Steiner from the top, by Dunyasha Yetz from the top position.
Get down and ref and count the points.
Well, let's see if the points were counted right here. Right to his back here. Okay, one. It's close because we couldn't see whether he was past the 45 degrees or not right there. Refs seemed to be in a good position to call that. That's close. That's always tough to lose on the road.
Dunyasha Yetz. Now Steiner is not completely out yet. He is now, and it's 2-1. Boy, these are talented people here.
You know, one thing we got to remember, we've watched Troy Steiner all year, and he has been slow off the mark at the first. He's had several people take him down, but he hasn't been beat by any collisions so far this year.
But he's getting a real test here from Dunyasha Yetz. You can see Yetz is talented. Inside trip start anyway by Steiner. He's doing the single leg. Now he'll have to finish it against that strong whizzer. The Barsgar on the other side. Does he have it? He has it.
I'll tell you what, Troy Steiner would like to keep him on the mat. A little somersault action there. Yetz is quick. He came right off that takedown, came up, and a somersault. Look at this. He could take him right to his back.
There's the reversal. It's 4-3.
And he's not out of trouble yet.
Angle on the arm was tough, and so Mike Exline called Dunyasha away from it. Yetz against Steiner at 134. A swing match, an important match.
Right here, he's got that ankle hooked right there and the knee up. That keeps him from being brought back to the mat by Troy Steiner. Now the leverage is all in the favor of Yetz right there. He comes around, covers the shoulder, is able to push off the hips right there and gets the 2 points. Reversal.
4-3.
Look at that. That's a tremendous muscle mass there. You know, so the fans are booing. They think he's taking a timeout because of his conditioning. And sometimes when you got that kind of muscle mass, you have a tendency to empty the glycogen cells a little bit.
We're tied again after that escape. It's 4-4, and they're back on the feet again, boy. And this is a tough match with about 30 seconds to go in the first period. High crotch move.
Oh, he's in tight now. Little roll action, and he loves to scramble, that Yetz does.
Switch off to a double. Now can Steiner got it. 6-4. 2-point lead for Steiner.
Well, I can tell you right now, Yetz hasn't done what he needed to do because he had to win it on the feet, and now he's been taken down a couple of times, and he had to win it there because he's not going to win it on the mat.
That's where Steiner wants to be, cranking it. 6-4.
This takedown right here, Steiner does a nice job of keeping close to the hips. He took all the power away from Yetz and got the 2 points.
All right, 6-4, a 2-point lead for Steiner. He's on the bottom.
Option start. Put it on.
Here comes Yetz on top. International start. He wants to go on the feet. He'll take the 3-point deficit. He's down 7-4. But Steiner's had the last 2 takedowns.
And I think that's very telling. It's a great indicator in this match because actually the first 2 winners, 118 and 126, were the wrestlers who scored the first takedown. And of course we know Yetz scored the first takedown in this match.
Now Steiner ties up with a 2-on-1.
Look at nice job.
Went after the double leg, but he was good enough with one here on the edge. Is he going to be able to keep Yetz in bounds?
He might not be able to.
He has a single leg. He's trying to bring Dunyasha Yetz back in.
And watch that somersault action then. There, he can't do it when he got both legs.
Does he have it? Yes, he has it. 9-4.
I tell you what, Troy Steiner has control of this match right now. Right now he pulls him back in. 3 straight takedowns for Troy Steiner. And I'll tell you, there's nobody that's going to out-condition Troy Steiner. Things are rolling in his favor right now.
9-4, a 5-point lead with 1 minute and 10 seconds to go in the second period. Steiner puts the leg in right away. He's very tough on top, and he knew that he had to take Yetz down successfully a couple of times and then be able to work on him in this position.
You know, it's funny, but probably not too funny to Troy, but he's been taken down several times this year right off the bat and then come back and dominate his opponent. And that's what happened right now. He takes a lot out of an opponent in the position he's in right now.
But Yetz is pretty good about keeping his base here. He's not easy to keep flat on his face. He's strong. He's been able to come up to his knees, but you see Steiner still has the position.
But how long can you do that without finally getting worn out? Because
stalemate, says Mike Excellent.
Troy Steiner's so technically sound, he doesn't make many mistakes when you're on the mat. And Russ Hellickson knows it. He knows that things aren't exactly how he wants. That's Mark Coleman, his other assistant, and Jimmy Jordan from Ohio State, the assistant coaches with Russ Hellickson.
Steiner puts the leg in.
Jimmy Jordan knows what it's like to wrestle and win a national title in this arena right here, Carver Hawkeye in 1986.
10 seconds to go, and that's in the second period here now. 5-point lead for Steiner. Yet, an explosive wrestler. You can tell he's dangerous at any time. Although he's trailing by 5. That's Dan Gable. I think he has to be happy with the way Troy Steiner has attacked on his feet after that first takedown.
Well, very much so, and he just wants to get through these next 2 minutes and see the same type of intensity and domination.
Troy Steiner now down at 134, ranked first at 142 coming into this match. Yetz ranked 4th at this weight. Iowa and Ohio State traded technical falls in the first 2 weights and are tied here 5-5.
Sometimes when you ride with the legs, you have a tendency to get high. Troy Steiner is high right now, and he's got a dynamo that he's on top. This could be problems.
That's what happens. Very powerful legs and hips, and Yetz was able to keep his base that time and reverse him. It's 9-6. 9-6, and Yetz now can't hold Steiner. It's 10-6.
Well, both wrestlers need to attack. I mean, that's the best strategy for both wrestlers. Obviously, Yetz needs to get back into the match, but Troy Steiner cannot hang on and win against somebody like Yetz.
That's the second time, by the way, that Yetz has been able to come out from the bottom there against and reverse Steiner. 4 of his 6 points have been on reversals. Steiner leading by 4. Again, a good way to keep Yetz out of that takedown match with a 2-on-1 tie-up. But here again is an explosive move by Yetz. He didn't get all the way in that time, and Steiner coming across the back forces a stalemate.
Doug, he is quick and explosive. You got that right. It's been a real surprise for Ohio State, the fact that they got him in the lineup and the fact that he has been so successful this year. I'm sure Russ has been very pleased because he's a bona fide All-American candidate.
Russ Hellickson, the coach of Ohio State. Dan Gable at Iowa. Matched up tonight in Carver Hawkeye. Boy, when Steiner took a shot that time, Yetz wasn't there when he arrived.
Well, this is Steiner's move right here, and the folks at the Army Sports Club in Bismarck, North Dakota are excited.
Watching the hometown.
That's
here,
right. Troy and Terry both said to say thanks for watching and thanks for all the support, guys, and everybody.
Tough scramble. Tough scramble. 10-6 is the score in favor of Steiner.
No points, man.
And at the end of the match, they were still scrambling. But Troy Steiner wins this one by 4. That was a big win for Iowa. And riding time made it 11-6. He did have riding time. And now it is 8-5 in favor of the Hawks after 3 matches.
Ohio State just got a point taken away from their team for unsportsmanlike conduct, and now it's 8-4.
Unsportsmanlike conduct.
I mean, I'll tell you what, that would drive a coach crazy. That's on Yates.
Yeah, it was
This kind of match, here you are.
Yates himself was the man who
Yeah, it was
caused that
on
to
Yates.
happen.
But it's a team point.
And it's now 8-4. There goes Troy Steiner. His brother Terry Steiner will be coming up at 150 after we see 142. That's the disappointed wrestler. Here comes Lincoln McIlravy for Iowa. A true freshman, one of the most fabulous high school records of anybody in history. 5-time champion, won a high school title in 8th grade, and he's already on a leg against Charlie BECKS, his sophomore opponent from Concord, Ohio. Charlie BECKS. This is another good, interesting weight because BECKS is coming down just as last week from 150 and 158. So what kind of shape is he going to be in? Is he making the weight well? He's going to be a big 150-pounder, 142-pounder. Lincoln McIlravy has won. We saw him last week, but not big. Throw by Charlie BECKS, and McIlravy's on his back. 4-point move, 2-point near fall after the takedown.
I'll tell you what, that's what'll get you in trouble. You get a little excited. It looks like he's hurt. Looks like Lincoln McIlravy's hurt. That was nice. He put some pressure. He pressured in. Look at, he's pressuring into Beck, and Beck just lateral drops him right to his back. Right on his top of his head is what happened, and probably got a little neck problem right there. That's the way to quiet a crowd down, though, as far as Ohio State is concerned, to come out and do something like that.
That's Charlie BECKS. Well, how's he doing down at 142? Fine so far here in the first 48 seconds.
Get a little excited. You're a freshman. You get a little excited. You get out there and you want to do really well, and then you pressure in and you forget that that other guy can.
He has talent too.
Has a little bit of talent too.
Sophomore from Lake Catholic High School in Concord, Ohio's Charlie BECKS. Let's see that again. Lateral drop.
Nice job. He gets his hips into him right there. Whips him over.
Ooh,
right on his head.
Yeah,
that did hurt. Right on his forehead. Jammed his neck back into his body.
As we said last week, in answer to my question about how do you win 5 state championships, well, you do it because you did it in 8th grade also. With Tim Johnson, I'm Doug Brown here on Iowa Public Television's College Wrestling Series in Carver Hawkeye Arena between 2 top teams, Iowa and Ohio State. The Hawks lead 8-4 after 3 weights. BECKS just started this match with a takedown, a near fall 4-point combination against Lincoln McIlravy, so the Hawk is going to have to come from behind. There's one on the escape, 4-1.
Lots of time, and when you're down 4-1 here, you don't want to try to get it all back with one big move just like you got put on your back. You come back a little bit at a time. Make sure you wrestle smart.
Good move again by BECKS on a counter, and he has the takedown. And it's 6-1.
There's 2-point
reversal. 6-3. McIlravy sneaks a peek at the clock. He has 1.5 minutes to go in the first period. He gives up the escape, makes it 7-3 because he wants to be on the feet.
Well, McIlravy's really dug himself into a hole right here. Right here, he's able to keep that ankle and that leg on the outside, or actually the inside, and he's able to come around, cast over to the other side of the hips and get the 2-point reversal.
7-3 in favor of BECKS of Ohio State here against McIlravy of Iowa.
I think BECKS has really been impressive so far. He's had a couple of nice big moves, and he's stayed in there tight. Now, what he needs to do is stay on the offense, because sometimes you have a tendency to get a couple of big ones and then start not shooting and getting passive.
They're in that sort of wizard setup you see with the Ohio State wrestler throwing the overhook. Now McIlravy had BECKS almost on his back, but he did get a takedown.
This is one there where when McIlravy with the crowd has a chance to come back in it. Ohio State, it would break their back if BECKS lost this opportunity.
8-5. after the escape. BECKS in on the leg, but he can't keep it very well with McIlravy countering strongly. Good hips.
Now he needs to come and cut across to a double. He needs to come across the body. He does. He needs to drive in. He gets the two.
And it's now 8-7.
Nice execution there. He knew where he was. He was in on the single leg, and he came across the body. Usually you cut across with your arm. He was able to come across with his own body and make sure that BECKS didn't come back with any kind of counter move.
Good
right
natural
here.
hip
Usually
action.
you cut across with the arm. Now he did on that. That was at the end of the flurry there. Nice job for 2 points.
I was going to say, good, powerful hip action to keep that to keep BECKS off him. He had to return BECKS to the mat when he got up, and so he did. BECKS is fighting for the hands. We're in the last 2 seconds of the period. McIlravy is very tough on this escape. He doesn't want to give it up.
And this is the kid that got bounced on his head and fell behind 4-0. It looks like he's ready. He's bounced back.
Wild first period, 8-7. 15 points in the first period. Neither man has been back on his heels much. Now Dan Gable likes to see that. Ride that man out.
Well, I see one slowing down and one gaining steam right now. And it reminds me of the last match. It seems like Ohio State has been able to come out and go in a flurry, but they've come and they're hitting brick walls, it looks like.
McIlravy comes immediately to his feet and turns in quickly and ties the match 8-8. No riding time to speak of either way. 10 seconds for McIlravy. That's not nearly enough for a point. Second period, Iowa leads 8-4. Heel pick by McIlravy. 2 more points. That's his first lead.
Well, now you just want to keep on doing what's been working, and McIlravy wants to build up. He's come back nicely, and he's going to work from his feet for a while.
He was behind 6-1, and now he's ahead 10-9 after the escape by BECKS. This is an important match, you know. This is very important here. They all are, but obviously BECKS showed you some talent, so Ohio State probably figured this is one maybe they thought they could get.
Well, if they were 3-minute matches, they would. But they're 7-minute matches, and you can see that McIlravy is, like I said, gaining steam.
Injury time here for Charlie BECKS. Sophomore from, as you said, from Lake Catholic High School in Concord, Ohio. His final year, he was 30-1 before he joined the Buckeyes program for Russ Hellickson. See that last takedown, the heel pick.
Off the arm, the 2-on-1 on the wrist there. Now he comes back in. Underhook to the opposite side, heel pick, drives through the hips, 2 points.
10-9 is the score. McIlravy is waiting out there. He'll be in there tomorrow night at 2 against Iowa State when the Hawkeyes go on the road and have the big cross-state showdown that we'll bring you at 9 o'clock tomorrow night here on Iowa Public Television from Hilton Coliseum in Ames. That's at 9 o'clock tomorrow night. The Hawkeyes against the Cyclones. And the Cyclones now have 7 men ranked in the top 17. I think when Jody Wilson was ranked number 17 now.
Well, it's crunch time, and it's the time you want to have your top wrestlers be in top form, and we're going to see a great match tomorrow night.
Remember, next it'll be Terry Steiner against probably Rick Mungie at 150, although 2 Buckeyes weighed in there also. Charlie BECKS on the left for Ohio State against Lincoln McIlravy from Phillips, South Dakota.
Nice high crotch. Needs to come up to his base and cut across like he did. He does a nice job with that. Not a lot of people have that talent.
Then when he decided to go upstairs, he forced BECKS to bail out.
No, he does that nicely. So many times, you know, you got to come across with the arm, and if you got your arm trapped, you just can't get that single to a double. But Lincoln McIlravy comes across with his entire hips and body.
After the escape, it's 12-10, and this time, for the first time, Charlie Becks is warned by referee Mike Exline for backing away at the edge of the mat. Passivity. Next time, it'll be a point. McIlravy doing the forcing here. He's pushing hard on the underhook. Going for the legs and backing Becks to the edge of the mat. Here's a reminder that at intermission we'll be talking about the national rankings and that Iowa State meet tomorrow night, and then look back at what happened in the first half, how many takedowns and near falls and the like.
Get set, Red.
That'll come up at intermission after 150 pounds, after Terry Steiner wrestles Rick Mungie. McIlravy lets Becks go. It's a 1-point lead. 12-11, now it's 3.
You know, Charlie Beck wants to do it. He wants to. He says, oh, I want to, but his body's not letting him right now, and you just can't do something your body won't do. And
that's red.
He's warned for stalling, and a point goes to McIlravy.
There's the penalty against Becks. Makes it 15-12. That's the biggest lead for McIlravy. 15-12.
Drops right down that single leg, climbs up the body. Now he's looking for some tilt.
17-12.
Reaction, Red. 1, both up.
After the escape, it's 17-13.
He really loved it. I'll tell you what, you can tell McIlravy loves the flurry there. He didn't feel too, right there, inside trip to a single leg, cuts across to the double leg right here, comes across the body, traps the hips down there, gets the 2 points. He rolls through here right after this for a tries for a tilt, went underneath. He's not scared to try.
Wrestling very confidently now. Double leg shot by Becks, but again, McIlravy shows very good hips.
Yeah, good hip action right there. Just stopped him.
But here comes Becks again. He's not through. McIlravy countering across the top. He looks very comfortable in this position.
And that's where the hips come in again. Look at, he's hip down on the shoulder. Now he's not where he wants to be, but if he can scoot, he's going to be all right.
And he's in hip place now. 30 seconds to go. There's a stalemate. Mike Exline feels nothing can be gained by letting him go on in that position. A 4-point lead for Dan Gable's man.
He's got to feel real good about what McIlravy. Look at that.
There's that little scoot.
Little boot scoot there.
He calls it, something like that. There's another one. He did it twice. And there's 2 more.
You know, you got a lot of talent on a team, but when you can't finish a match, that does nothing for your team coming up. This is a team sport too, and I'll tell you what, he just basically quit. McIlravy took it to him.
And it's 23-15. With riding time, it's 24-15. And a major decision. A lot of takedowns there for Lincoln McIlravy, wrestling his first year out of Phillip High School in South Dakota for the Iowa Hawkeyes. This is how Dan Gable took it at the end.
He says, go again, go again. You know, all a coach has is to be ready to go the whole match. It's, you know, you want to win, but give it to me and give it to me for 7 minutes. There's nothing more disappointing than to think, for a wrestler to think that all I have to do is go out and give a few flurries and try to hold on and not go the whole 7.
Steiner now undefeated in 23 matches this year against Rick Mungie, ranked number 6. For Ohio State, Mungie in on the low single leg. But here's Steiner across the back, countering him very well so far. We're in a scramble.
And that's where both of these wrestlers, I'll tell you, they get in scrambles.
They like to be there. And that one was won by Terry Steiner, up 2-0.
Steiner, of course, a two-time All-American. Rick Monge transferred in from Bakersfield and one of the top-ranked wrestlers in the nation. And really, Monge is one of the best scramblers. He has kind of a funky style, and he can really get going. But you can see his knees. They're wrapped up, they're braced up, and I'm sure that his scrambling and funk and all that is jeopardized.
Exactly what he said. The difference, though, is that your kid had his arm in there. According to McCormick, if I've got my arm in there, he's considering that the body. All right? All right? He's considering that the body. All right? That's the word. All right?
They're talking about Pat McCormick, the chief of officials, and he's going to be refereeing tomorrow night, Iowa and Iowa State.
Oh, you understand what he was trying to say, and Russ was saying you can't figure for the head. X-Line said it wasn't just the head, it was the head and the arm. According to the head of officials, when you have the arm involved, that's part of the body, which is legal.
Here comes Schick, a nice move, and he's out for a reversal, 2-2. Monge, I said Mike Schick, he's up next at 158. I meant Rick Monge. Kicks the leg out, and he is tied with Terry Steiner.
Monge's a good rider. He can stay close to you, but of course Steiner, he's hard to ride. He comes out.
3-2 takes the lead. Rick Monge against Terry Steiner. North Dakota, Terry Steiner, Rick Monge from Santa Ana, California, Mater Dei High School.
Mater Dei's first state champion ever.
Now he's an electrical engineering major too at Ohio State.
Both up, man.
Stan Gable, Terry Steiner, whose brother Troy overcame Dunyasha Yates at 134 pounds, 11-6. And after the match, Yates was found guilty of unsportsmanlike conduct, and Ohio State lost a team point. Here is Steiner in on one of his specialties, that high crotch move. He doesn't have it finished yet, but he's close. He has it now, 5-2. And here he is in the back position, near fall position off the Turk by Terry Steiner. It's a three-point near fall move too.
You know, this is really a welcome sight for Dan Gable, because Terry Steiner, to win a national title, needs to attack, needs to be on the offense, and he certainly has been tonight.
8-2 will be the score after this one is resolved, unless Steiner can pin him, and I don't know. He won't be able to here. A three-point near fall. Some of the happy people in the Iowa crowd in Carver Hawkeye.
Here comes Steiner across. He's got him all turked up there, right here, and now he's going to take him to his back. That cross face, across the face right there. Now he's going to try to get his chest up above and Monge's shoulder underneath his, and he worked real hard on it and came real close.
Steiner had the choice here, and he has taken the down position, leading by 6 points. He has 49 seconds of riding time, which Monge is reducing here the longer he stays in the up position.
We've been talking about riding, and when we saw Arizona State and Iowa last year, we talked about Leroy Smith's philosophy, and he doesn't even use the word riding, but break down and turn. And both of these wrestlers try to break the man down and turn him, and that's the object, not to ride.
Now we have a stalemate position. The official, Mike X-Line of Charles City, puts Rick Monge back in the top here in this referee's position. Steiner wants to be up like that, and he's able to hand fight and come out. 9-2. 7-point lead for Steiner. Nobody's beaten him this year. He's 23 and zip. He has his eye on an NCAA title. He's placed twice, but he doesn't have one yet.
Well, he doesn't want to go back to the Army Sports Club and, with his brother, and his brother being a national champion and him not. But it really doesn't matter because they love them both up there, and it's great the kind of support that Bismarck and their friends up there have given them, and we're glad to be able to bring this meet to them.
Rick Mungie of Ohio State got his 2 points on a reversal, but Steiner's had 2 takedowns and then a 3-point near fall. Again, that high crotch move, he does that so well.
He has such a sense of where he's at, see, right here. He knows where his hips are. They're above Mungie's hips. That's where you want. Anytime your hips are underneath the other man's.
He's trying to pin Mungie, and he's saying, referee, Mike, look. He says, I'm pinning him. Now he's getting a near fall because he got the takedown. Couldn't get near fall points without the takedown, although he could have pinned Mungie.
Well, we're going to have a little disagreement here because...
Well, I think so.
We're going to say, hey, there really was never any control. And when I say we, that's Russ Hellickson is getting ready to come over and try to talk to the referee.
It's going to be a matter of maybe of interpretation. Again, at intermission, we'll be discussing the national rankings and then the national tournament coming up at Ames, where Iowa and Iowa State will meet tomorrow night, and our first half stats. But now Russ Hellickson is again discussing the rule book.
That's right. He's on his back. You're right.
Okay.
Okay. So he's on his back.
So I can expect to see this in a national tournament, right?
You bet.
Right. Only you.
Here's your warning.
There's a warning.
Let's go.
Mike,
no.
excellent.
No. Who's choice?
And here comes Dan Gable comes out, and you weren't able to see that, but there's a lot of rivalry here with Russ Hellickson and the Iowa team. And Russ, you know, he doesn't dare get too excited, actually, and
he's had some problems.
He's had some physical problems, and
hey, I think Mungie's got some problems right now
because Steiner's locked up the cradle. He's got it tough here.
Well, I think the referee maybe just gave Ohio State back a couple extra points because that was 2 points for near fall that he didn't give on that cradle.
No, he did not score.
I don't understand that at all.
Well, I don't know. It was 13-2. I think he did give him 2, maybe. 13-2. He did give him 2.
Okay.
13-2, 11-point lead for Terry Steiner. And that's. And Mungie, of course, is not chopped liver. He's an All-American candidate.
No, he's a very tough wrestler. He wrestled 2 years for Bakersfield, a good program, and he's a tough wrestler. It's going to be, like you said, vying for an All-American placing.
Number 5 is his latest ranking. Rick Mungie, and Steiner leads by 10 here. Every position turns out to be a scramble between these two.
Well, they're both scramblers, but you know the difference is you can't make a living out of reacting, and that's what Mungie's been doing tonight against Terry Steiner.
Part of his reaction is to stay off his back, and Steiner's trying to pin him right there from that position. 15-3. And there again is that wicked Turk and crossface. And another 3-point near fall will end it.
Unless he pins him.
Unless he pins him. It'll be a technical fall right here.
Crowd on their feet.
Well, the position is still not over because that's
the same hold, man.
Same hold as Mike Excellent.
Big win.
The 3-point near fall and the technical fall for Terry Steiner. Final score.
In 5 minutes.
16-3.
A technical fall for that man. And 5 points for his team. 17-4 Iowa at the end of 150 pounds. It's kind of like a nightmare. In your dreams, you might imagine that guy with a Turk on you.
Oh, I don't want to have those kind of nightmares.
That's the end of the 150-pound match. Tim and I will be back in just a moment with more college wrestling coverage on your statewide home for sports, Iowa Public Television, a resource for Iowa's future.
This is Iowa Public Television.
Here we are again at Carver Hawkeye Arena between Iowa and Ohio State, and you see there what Iowa has done in the first 5 matches. 17-4 is the count here as we get close to going again at 158 pounds between these two teams. And when things began to go bad there for Ohio State, they began to go bad. It's they have not quite. It seemed like it was beginning to pile up on them again. It was bothering them at the end. When things began to go bad, it got worse.
Well, this is a tough place to wrestle, and it certainly showed in Ohio State's performance because they came out fast, but once adversity hit, they folded.
And they have to turn that around as best they can. There's no question about that. These are 2 of the best teams in the country. They're 2 of the teams that everybody figures has a chance to win the national title when they wrestle up at Ames in March for the national championships. And you can see that they have the talent in various weights. Again, each team has a few question marks here and there.
Well, Adam DeSabito looked really good at 126, and that was a bright spot for him. But the 2 Steiners and Zapputil, they looked good.
Another of the great teams was Penn State. They're ranked #1, and we saw them in the national duels. At heavyweight, that match was decided right here. Here are the last 10 seconds of an overtime. The man on top, Troxel of Penn State, had to hold Mendoza for 30 seconds to win. Mendoza would win if he got out, and whichever man won for his team. And Troxel held Mendoza. You'll see Mendoza later.
It was a tense match.
Oh, it was.
It was real exciting.
And Russ Hellickson couldn't believe that his team lost it. Penn State won it 17-16. And the rankings have just changed ever since. Penn State went up to #1, and Ohio State, right at this moment, is #8. Although I don't think in talent they're anywhere near that far down at #8. But you can see what happened here in the first 5 weights. You can see what Russ Hellickson's talking about. With talent, whatever, they're having trouble.
And the rankings right there. You see Nebraska up there with 7 ranked wrestlers also, but who's at the top? Penn State, 9 ranked wrestlers.
And a young man at 190 who is the only one not in that ranking.
And he's not bad.
Iowa and Iowa State, numbers 3 and 6, meet tomorrow night at Ames. Hilton Coliseum will have that for you at 9 o'clock here on Iowa Public Television. Just the same as we had this one tonight from Carver. Iowa and Iowa State. They meet once each year these days, and this meeting this year is going to be in the home of the Cyclones. We have some tough matches yet to wrestle here tonight. In the first weights at 100 up to 150 pounds, we had a lot of scoring here tonight. We had
well, 118 was high scoring, and then 126 was high scoring, and one was for Iowa and one for Ohio State. And then it was very interesting at 134.
And that was a terrific match. And you know, those people are very likely to meet again. DUNYASHA, Yetz.
And it won't be here, and it won't be at home. You know,
and you know, you can see that Yetz has talent. Let's set up 158 pounds for you, because that's the next one as we go into the top 5 weights. For Iowa, it's going to be Daryl Weber from Don Bosco High School in Gilbertville. He's a freshman, and he's done extremely well. He has won the wrestle-off, as I understand it, over Catalano, and he's in this lineup now, although Catalano is ranked 10th in the country. And his opponent is 4th-ranked senior from Ohio State, Mike Schick. Mike Schick. Last year, he finished 5th in the country. 2 years in a row, he was the most improved wrestler. And this is a real test for Daryl Weber. And it might be a test for Schick, too, because I think Weber has the talent to give Schick a good match. And Schick, of course, it's on his shoulders now to turn this meet back around for Ohio State. They need somebody with stability to come in there and point them back.
Well, it really is, and the break really has to work to Ohio State's advantage, because they can regroup a little bit and say, okay, we may not be able to win, we may be able to win, but what we can do is get in there and go these 5 matches a lot better than we have in the first 5 matches. And like you said, pressure a little bit on Mike Schick right here, returning All-American, and he's a little unorthodox in his style, and I'll bet he and Manji have some good workouts in the room, because we did see Rick Manji.
They're both unorthodox.
They're basically basically unorthodox.
Now you see, you can just tell where they are and who's on the inside of the situation, who has his back to the edge. You can see that Schick is working very hard in there. He's staying right with Weber. A matter of aggressiveness.
That was the Ohio State coaches we saw there, Mark Coleman and Hellickson, and they'd like to get a smile on their face, and Mike Schick could do it for him here. Darrell Weber out of Don Bosco High School.
We saw him win a pin last week
That's
against
right,
Arizona State. And he looked very good, and here he comes. The single, double points, I should say. Right. Single leg to 2 points, and it's a takedown for Weber.
Well, that was really nicely executed by Weber. He got in there, and he seemed very confident and very sure.
This would be a huge
right here. He
for
comes in
Iowa.
on a single, then he gets back to his feet, then he takes his ankle and trips Schick down. It was really nicely done. He's a surprise for Iowa that he's come on so strong. He's got a good offense.
And he seems to do well out in front of people, too. That makes a difference. Switch by Schick, and Weber lets him out. Well, I don't know if he let him out. Schick got himself out, and then Weber cleared. It's 2-1 with 1:15 to go in the 3-minute first period. Iowa and Ohio State from Carver Hawkeye on Iowa Public Television.
Stay in there.
Mike Exline wants some wrestling in the middle, so he sends him back out there again. Schick did his high school wrestling in Florida, Lemon Bay, Florida. 2 titles. He has the single leg this time, goes to the double, and nice hip action by Weber.
Very good defense right there. That's where he got past the arms, Schick did. He got into the legs, he was in good position, and Weber was able to hip out. Really did a nice sprawl. Put the pressure on Schick and got out.
Weber leads 2-1.
It was a nice shot by Schick, but he wasn't able to follow through.
In the tie-up, Schick backs out. He wants to go to the outside. They're both standing away from each other now. Schick ties up with a collar and underhook, and he does the forcing here. 2-1 with about a half a minute to go here in the first period. 1:58. Iowa 17. And Ohio State 4 after 5 weights. Would have been 17-5. Ohio State had a team point taken away.
Open up, man.
High crotch attempt there by Weber, and it was good defense by Schick.
Work out of there.
So we come to the end. In the first 5 weights, so through 150, here's what we had. The team score, you see, is all Iowa. They lead in total points. A lot of points scored. Almost more than double in takedowns. And near falls for both teams. Takedowns are the difference. Iowa has had 4 riding time points at the end and got 3 points for penalties.
Neutral.
Granby right from the feet.
Yeah, standing Granby, and he really did a nice job of that to get out for 1.
So it's 2-2.
Shot by Schick, a whizzer out by Weber.
We're even here at 158. This is a tough match. Schick has yet to take Weber down. Weber got the only takedown right in the first period.
Weber was quite a high school athlete, Don Bosco, a 2-time state champion and a high school All-American.
Now he has that front headlock position against Schick, who got inside the arms, but he didn't really have anywhere to go when he was there. They've just tossed each other around a little bit out in the tie-up position, and occasionally they'll back out and shoot at long range, but nobody's scored on the feet
Keep your offense.
since early.
This is one of those matches, neither wrestler can lose their intensity here. It's going to be one when one wrestler makes just a very slight error and the other one takes advantage of it for a takedown probably.
Mike Schick ranked 4th.
Warning, green.
That's a warning against Weber.
Red, stay in here for me.
2-2.
Stay in here.
Mike Schick. He had 2 30-win seasons back-to-back. Last year he was 36-13 before he went 5th in the nation. But he's in there against a tough freshman. This Weber is going to be a most successful wrestler, I think, at Iowa, on the basis of what we've seen in the last couple of matches. But
well, he got hit for that stalling, and actually, when you think about it, it's a rarity for an Iowa wrestler to get hit for stalling.
Schick, however, is keeping strong position, and he is in a position to keep Weber from coming forward, and that is what looks like. That's what happens. That's you get stalled and you can't come forward.
Well, and right here, this is where Weber wants to not only stop but score. That's when you really start making it work, when you can stop an attack and score off it.
5 seconds to go in the second period. It's 2-2 between these men. Weber of Iowa, Schick of Ohio State. And the period ends with still a 2-2 score. Ohio State has these men ranked in the top 5, all of them, too. You see that? That should mean that all of them have a national championship chance.
That's right.
Come on, get set, Green.
Every one of them. And a Randleman ranked 3rd was the title winner last year. Third period starts with Weber on the bottom. And he's out. Leads 3-2. He has the only takedown way back early in the first period. 17-4 Iowa over Ohio State. We're at 158, and Weber of Iowa leads ranked wrestler 3-2, and he has
a nice job of coming back into good position.
Somersault by Schick saved the position for the time being. Now he's trying to get his hips back and see if he can score, but Weber's in the up position here.
And that's that unorthodox style there of Schick. Going to maybe save from being taken down here.
Schick is across the back. Now here comes Weber across to the double. So Schick really does have to hold. Referee Mike Exline says it's a takedown, 5-2. Most impressive performance by Weber.
Keeping the pressure on. Where's the first part of the move right here? He's in on the single. Now see how he regroups, comes up to his feet, gets good position. Now tries to cover the hips. Now the unorthodox style of Schick kept him from getting taken down soon, but Weber stuck with it.
Now Schick was on the bottom. You missed the escape there because he got to his feet, came right out. It's 5-3, 2 points difference. There's no riding time. And we're 43 seconds from the end at 158. There's Dan Gable exhorting Darrell Weber on. Schick in on a low single.
Good low single. He's in tight right here. Now he needs to follow through and finish it if he wants to score.
He needs this takedown to tie it. But Weber's still with him. Weber's looking good. Scramble. Schick now in a good position. He may almost had Weber on his back.
He's got him in trouble. If he, well, but Weber's able to get to his base.
Saved it. But it's 5-5. Schick.
They're going to go into overtime.
With 6 seconds to go, yes, Schick is going to hold him right now, and we'll go to overtime, and the first man to score will win.
No improvement. That's time.
We love this overtime stuff.
A little bit like the last takedown, but went for Weber.
Well, now here they go. We get back to live action here quickly. Let's go back to live action because we have the first man gets a takedown, wins. The first point scored in this 2-minute period wins. They start on the feet, and it's the first point. High crotch by Schick.
Good hips. Weber's able to come around, but that...
There's a beautiful roll on the Granby by Schick. He saved the position now. He's going to try to get the takedown. He does. He wins.
It was close. I'll tell you what, Weber was in tight, had it, almost had it, and Schick, with his style, was able to hang in there and get a good victory for Ohio State. They needed that. That was a tough loss for Weber.
He countered off that. Let's see that.
He did a nice job, that shoulder roll, little Granby action right there. Very nicely done by Schick to counter Weber right there and come out for the 2 points.
In overtime, 17-7 now is the score. It's Iowa over Ohio State. What a disappointing loss for Darrell Weber. What a big win for Mike Schick. Never quit, you know. He countered off like a Granby counter off the feet when he was in danger of going down. There was no chance.
Well, you got to cover those hips, and against somebody like Schick, you don't give him any margin.
Now we're at 167 pounds. And at 167, you're looking at Jim Scavuzzo for Ohio State, and Keith and Matt Narum, who is down at 177 as we suggested in the opening.
Down from 177.
He's down from 177, and another change for Dan Gable.
First time we've seen Narum at 167.
Matt Narum, who actually is not a big 77 anyway. Dan Gable said he weighed in the low 170s naturally, so this is not a hard weight for him to make. Now we'll be interested to see. Stiltner will probably be at 77. Jim Scavuzzo, a sophomore, against Matt Narum, also a sophomore for Iowa. Scavuzzo from Richfield Revere High School in Akron. Mechanical engineering major at Ohio State. An academic all Big Ten man last year. Matt Narum from Iowa's North Fayette High School. West Union is his hometown. He was a 3-time state champion in the state.
No, he was actually third in the state. He never won a state championship.
He was third three times.
Yeah.
Third 3 times.
I love it when a guy like that obviously overcomes some tremendous disappointment, because with that kind of talent, he's looking for that state championship, and yet here he is in the black and gold for the Hawkeyes, and our first time at 167.
We talked about that last week. What a disappointment that must be to be third 3 times.
Takes a special kind of person to come back and get third. That's a tough. That means you end off your year winning, though.
Now it's of interest. The Iowa coaching staff, they were both warned, by the way. Both men are warned for passivity here. Scavuzzo on the single leg.
A little outside action now. He needs to come up. Narum spins around.
He has a lot of length. And
there, he locks in. He should have the 2 points.
Potentially dangerous.
Dan Gable not liking that call at all, because it should have, as far as he's concerned, should have been the 2 points. They called it potentially dangerous because Nerum's knee was bent the way that it shouldn't be bent.
45 seconds to go. And no score in the first period. As I started to say, the Iowa coaching staff watching very carefully to see how Narum does at this weight. That'll affect where people go from here through the end of the year. There's not much time left.
Well, there is. Well, we talked. There's a lot of pressure on the kids right now, because if they don't do well,
They may
could
not
be the end of the road for them, and so that's a lot of pressure, and that's why they're in the Division I and national championship tradition here.
First period is going to be scoreless. Couldn't decide anything on the feet. Scavuzzo gets his choice at the beginning of the second period, and he will pick down. Narum comes on top. Narum picks the ankle right away to bring Scavuzzo back down. Hold the position. He's getting riding time here.
Look for improvement.
Now he's coming up high. But Scavuzzo has his base, and so Narum is not able to turn him at all because he hadn't broken him down yet.
Hit it! Backwards! Take it back, Jimmy! Backward!
No improvement.
Mike Exline wants them to start over again. That's Dan Gable cheering his new 167-pounder on. Jim Zaleski over on your right.
There's Tom Brands on his left.
Now Narum gets Scavuzzo flattened out, and Jim gets right back up to his knees again. Brings his base up. That's where he wants to be. He can't get out without coming up.
Little sit action there for
Narum is still in control, and he has 54 seconds of riding time.
Looking real good, looking real confident out there is Narum.
No score. Scavuzzo, Jim Scavuzzo at 167 pounds. This is where he wants to be. He usually likes to back in or do some kind of a switch to get out. But Narum has been just on top of him like a blanket. And here he is. He's still riding, and he's over a minute now, minute 10. 150, 167, 17-7 Iowa State over Ohio State on Iowa Public Television's coverage of the Hawkeyes and the Buckeyes in Carver Hawkeye Arena. With Tim Johnson, I'm Doug Brown. There is the stalemate call again.
Let's go. He's got to work for a pan.
That's Russ Hellickson.
Well, Russ has to feel better after Mike Schick's win. Mike Schick really did something that most of his other teammates hadn't. He stuck in there. He showed really a lot of fortitude to stay in there and win that overtime match, and that had to help the Ohio State Buckeyes after that. And like I said, that break might have helped them get back into this match.
Scavuzzo trying to get his hips under him here as he comes around, but he's had trouble. Narum is he hasn't flattened him and driven him around much, but he's just on him like flies on honey here.
Scavuzzo just about Grambeat out there. Did a nice little roll, came out and scrambled, but Narum did a nice job of...
Narum rode him the whole period. That was impressive. Now this time Narum goes under. No score here. No score. We'll have last year's national champion Kevin Randleman up next at 177. Scavuzzo trying to return the favor, but Narum is on his feet. Scavuzzo has the leg in a different fashion than Narum used it. Stalemate.
Ohio State wrestler would like to get some of that riding time down before he really does anything too risky. He'd like to get rid of about 40 more seconds.
Now Narum has got his hands out. And he's out for the first point, and now he's working for a takedown.
That's the way to go right there as far as wrestling's concerned. Like if you stop an opponent or you escape, the best thing to do is get back in and try to score. And that's what he did there, although Narum hasn't completed the scoring yet.
Narum in a scramble with Jim Scavuzzo.
Oh, he's got the leg loose. He should be getting 2 points.
Now he has 2. The first takedown of the match. Matt Narum. 3-0 now with a minute to go. Goes right from the takedown into a try for a tilt.
What he really needs to do is get on the attack right now. If you're Iowa and you're Matt Narum, you want to really push. You don't want to hang on. You want to push and try to turn.
Narum also has almost 2 minutes of riding time here, in addition to a 3-0 lead. This Scavuzzo trying to come out the back underneath. Crossface counter by Narum with a leg in, and he flattens Scavuzzo out again.
That's where you want to keep them, flat on their belly right there, if you're in the position that he is with a 3-point lead.
Scavuzzo's had no luck getting out. No luck at all. 25 seconds to go, a 3-0 lead for Narum. Well, does he look like maybe he's going to fit in at 167?
Well, he's doing all right here. Ohio State wrestler is a good wrestler, and Matt Narum has not allowed him to score on him yet and trying to make a case for his spot at 167.
And that does leave it open as to if this happens. And he would replace Keith Trammell at this weight. Keith Trammell, where would he go?
Up, down?
Up, down, you never know.
He's been a great competitor for Iowa, so I'm sure he's going to be in there challenging somewhere if that's the case.
Narum now is trying to haul Scavuzzo to his back, and he's pushing it at the end of the match, and it's a shutout for Matt Narum. Riding time is his. Makes it 4-0. A win for the Hawkeye. It's 20-7. The Iowans over the Ohios here. after 7 matches, 20-7. As we go to 177, that's Matt Nera. Here is Kevin Randleman. His coach says he could be playing safety for the Miami Dolphins. Thinks he's a tremendous athlete, and he certainly is. He finished second 2 years ago to Mark Ryland in the Nationals as a freshman. He won the Nationals last year. He was out sometime during this season. He's 14-1 though, and ranked 3rd. And his opponent is Greg Stiltner.
Well, they met in the national duels, and Randleman was able to win, but it was closer than most people thought. It was 3-1 over Greg Stiltner in the national duels in January, the end of January, about a month ago.
Well, Stiltner's 6'4". He's
get some offense, man.
And Russ Hellickson told us that Kevin Randleman doesn't like the ones that are tall like that. He thinks they're harder to reach their legs. Greg Stiltner looks, in fact, Dan Gable says he's the first wrestler I've had who looks more like a basketball player.
He does. He looks like he could slam dunk it pretty easy. I don't know whether he's going to be able to slam dunk Randleman, but if he can slow him up and strategically keep him in the position that he wants and not let him be too explosive, then he can keep it close. And go for
Grundy, Virginia.
4 out of both of you.
We've used 1 minute and 10 in the first period. No score. Kevin Randleman's only a junior, too. This is his 3rd year. He's finished second, finished first. Both men are worn. Mike Eckstein warns them both.
Well, like I said in the opening, Randleman's won over 40 matches each of his freshman and sophomore year. 84 matches. Whoa, now he's got an over and an under right here, and it's locked up.
He lets it go. Probably thinks can't get the leverage against the taller Hawkeye.
Well, this is a good chance for Stiltner to just show how good he is, because he hasn't been in the lineup all that much this year to really see how good he is, and
now
this is certainly a good
move to the leg.
opportunity.
Randleman, a quick move to the upper leg. He has it. Can he finish it?
Improvement.
Looking for the trip on the other side. Finally just has to drive, and Stiltner keeps his balance, goes out of bounds.
Well, what he did right there was Randleman does a nice job of changing levels usually, but it's hard to change levels on a 6'4" guy and bring him down, because you might change a foot and they're still 5'4" and about your height, you know, and so you go down and they're still up.
Stiltner and Randleman.
Let's go.
They both were warned for what Mike Eckstein thought was too little activity. We're 20 seconds from the end of the first period.
What Stiltner would like to do is make it so close and get Randleman frustrated here, because this is what happens sometimes, a national champion in against somebody that's hard to wrestle. If you can keep your cool, you're okay.
But he is the national champion. Kevin Randleman, he's won in a series from Ohio State. The Buckeyes have no score at the end of the first period. You see Mark Coleman, who's now an assistant coach, was a national champion. Jude Scholes, Dave Reinbold, George Bolus, George Downs back in the 40s. Upper weights, most all of them. Kevin Randleman, it's his choice in the second period, and he picks down. Now we'll see what Stiltner does with him on top. Here's Randleman underneath. This is a position where the Ohio State coaching staff worries a little bit about Randleman once in a while, that he tends to float down under there.
Well, like he's just saying, okay, you think you're pretty good? Wait till I move.
Comes to his feet. Nothing happening yet.
And Green, you need to bring him down.
There's a point. That's going to be a point for Ohio State's Randleman. Stiltner was penalized for not trying to improve his position. Mike Eckstein said you need to bring him down. So it's 1-0 Randleman.
I'm telling you, Randleman's just thinking about exploding here.
Comes around. He has the front headlock position. It's not been called an escape yet.
Ready, get two. Get two right there. One red, reaction.
Now it's even, 1-1. Or rather, 2-0, 2-0 because Randleman got the escape.
Well, Randleman likes to step around when an opponent gets an over and under. He likes to step around to the side, a body lock, and he can throw with the best of them.
Now Steubenville has the underhooks.
And they're pummeling there, and Steubenville does a nice job of pummeling and keeping his inside position, not letting Randleman control. Randleman trying on a duck under there.
Still, nobody has scored a takedown. No offensive move yet. Has worked. And we're 30 seconds from the end of the second period. Ohio State's defending national champion against Greg Steubenville. And again, double this time.
Let's go.
Double penalty, double point for each man. Point for each man. 3-1 Randleman. It's a matter of styles where neither one of these people feels he wants to change what he's doing. And so it's a lock horns situation all the way.
We need more offense on our feet, both of you. Green's choice.
Stiltner goes down, trailing 3-1. 52 seconds of riding time for Stiltner.
Optional start. Let's go.
Wouldn't be surprised if Randleman's going to just let him go.
Neutral green.
3-2. And here we go on the feet.
You know, single leg, and he's had it tight, but Randleman, with that power in the hips, was able to just crunch him down and come out.
Steubenville uses his range, his length. He's 6'4", and he can frustrate somebody like Kevin Randleman, who is quick and powerful and would prefer somebody the same height.
Well, you know, we talk about the quick and powerful, and we've seen him be quick and powerful, but he hasn't done a lot of moving in the last couple of minutes.
Almost there, almost duck under, but he's trailing by 1, or he's leading by 1. Randleman leads by 1. 1 escape and 2 penalty points.
The next stalling point is 2 points against Iowa. If it's against Steubenville, it's 1 point against Ohio State.
A minute to go. And again, Randleman leads by 1.
He needs to get in and make some shots, singles, doubles, something. Steubenville needs to keep pushing.
But he's not doing it. That may have kept the wolf from the door for a moment. Timeout just for a second by Randleman.
You want injury time?
Go. Ready? 41 seconds. 41 seconds to go. The Buckeye national champion leads by a point.
Red!
There's a point for Steubenville. It's 3-3.
I'll tell you what, it's 25 seconds, it's 3-3. You would have told Dan Gable this is where the match would have been with Randleman and an opportunity to win with the takedown, he'd take it.
Let's go.
And there's Russ Hellickson. But if you need an explosive move at the last minute,
that's Randleman all the way because he can hit it in 2 seconds.
It's Randleman, but he has not taken it.
No, he hasn't. He may get hit. And I'd hate to see it right now.
There he is.
Whoa.
Woo! Nothing. We're going to go to overtime, my friend.
Wow.
All right. And they go to it in a hurry here. They go right to it. They don't wait. Dan Gable exhorting his tall 77-pounder Greg Steubenville. It's our second overtime period. Kevin Randleman calls timeout, an injury timeout.
And I'll tell you what, he's dangerous in overtime, especially if he gets a little rest.
Very quick and powerful. This is a kind of situation that you would think would be where he would have an advantage, but on the other hand, he had that was an 8-minute match, 7-minute match. He had an advantage too.
You know, Ohio State won the last overtime at 1:58, and we've been talking about how explosive Kevin Randleman is, but he's kind of made a liar out of us tonight, you know.
There's the Ohio State trainer working on Randleman's arm, or Randleman's hand. And the crowd in
50.
Carver Hawkeye is getting steamed up here, rhythmically clapping and yelling for Greg Stiltner.
Now what Stiltner has to do is not get overworked about him taking this time out right there. He just needs to go to work.
Here we go, overtime, first point win.
You know what was telling there? The first step was a backward step for Randleman.
First point win.
Whether it's a stalling point or an executed point.
Now it's tough. You know, it's tough. A referee is under pressure in an overtime too.
Yeah.
Because it's tough to call a, well, I would say a referee would say, no, it's no different from any other time. You just call it when it's there. Inactivity in the overtime. Remember, it's a continuation. And each man has been penalized. Here's the single leg by Randleman. He hasn't been able to finish one yet. We've had no takedowns in this match. Overtime.
Now, this is very important for Stiltner.
Stiltner's out.
Nice job. See, he kept the weight down. Now he's in on a single.
There's the double leg. Uh-oh. That's a quick move for Randleman. And he will get it.
That's 2 of them.
That's 2 for Randleman. And so overtime has been good to Ohio State.
Got in on that double leg. I don't know what's wrong with Randleman, except for he's trying to find a little air.
He wins 5-3.
Nice double leg. Look at it, like a freight train right there. In tight, tries to finish it, and he does. He comes driving through. His head is in good position there. He comes across the hips right there, gets the 2 points. A very nicely executed move by Kevin Randleman to win in overtime. Stiltner getting an ovation from the Iowa fans. Actually, the 2 overtime losses for Iowa have been kind of moral victories. They've been against ranked wrestlers for Ohio State and unranked for Iowa. And Randleman's still down. I don't know what's wrong with him. Maybe he split his, got hurt on that double leg.
Hard to say. The coaches standing out there, Mark Coleman and Russ Hellickson for Ohio State. Dan Gable from Iowa next to them. That's how it ended. You look at that and you say, who won? If you looked at that still right there. Well, the man in red did. Kevin Randleman, who will be looking for his 2nd national title in Ames this year. He's the man still flat on his back.
Well, I can tell you somebody that's going to be thinking about wrestling him for a while, and that's Greg Stiltner. So he didn't hurt his chances to stay in at 177 tonight in the Iowa lineup, Doug, I don't think.
No, I don't think so. And 177, by the way, that's... it is true that his coaches say that he doesn't like to wrestle the taller guys all that much. Now he's going to leave, go straight to the dressing room. Kevin Randleman. 20-10 as we go to 190. This ought to be another good one. Because although Rex Holman is undefeated and ranked #1, Joel Sherritt, 22-3, is ranked 3rd. And he might be just on the edge of greatness. You never know.
No, I agree with you. I think that he's been improving every day for Iowa.
Senior from Columbus, Upper Arlington High School in Columbus, Ohio. Rex Holman, a sophomore for Iowa from Bloomington, Minnesota, Kennedy High School there. Won 2 national junior championships as a freestyler.
Like I said, he's a good wrestling technician. He's got very good technique, but in an atmosphere like this, I think if Joel Sherritt was to take it to him here with this kind of crowd action and everything, it could frustrate Rex Holman.
He went to the high crotch this time. He not able to get it out of bounds. Sherritt. So I say he won 2 national junior freestyle championships, and 1 year Rex Holman became a man who won both the Greco and the freestyle in his high school days.
Well, you can tell he knows how to throw and he knows how to react to pressure, and that's how he does. He reacts to pressure with big throws.
Sherritt Likes to come right at you. He doesn't take backward steps. You can see that. He works hard. He comes right at you, and you have to get a corner and get around him somehow, or you'll be backing up all night.
Well, you know what I've noticed here is in the first 5 weights where Iowa won 4, there was all kinds of scoring. Now, the last 3 matches where Ohio State has won 2 of those 3 matches, there's very little scoring at all. And so as they've slowed the matches down, if they keep them close, Ohio State has won a couple of them, and when the scores were high, Iowa came out on top.
Now Holman has a single leg for the first time. Goes to the other side.
Nice job.
He has it.
He did a nice job of keeping that one leg near to him as he extended out to get the ankle low, and good leverage, good takedown for Rex Holman.
And the Buckeyes go up 2-0 here.
Now here, he's got the single here, but you see him low to the level. Nice job. He had his eyes on that, got him around the shin bone right there and drove into him. He didn't get extended as much as he did lower his level and penetrate deeper. Nice job by Rex Holman.
On top, Holman goes right with the leg. Leg in. Sherritt doing a good job of staying on his base, keeping himself from being broken down.
Well, yeah, what he doesn't want to do is get ridden like this. Holman's a good rider, and you can slow a man down when you get the legs in and start putting the pressure on you and not letting you get to your base. But now Sherritt's right where he wants to be.
Out. 2-1. He did a good job, got to his feet, had his hand just free of Holman's hands, and he's out with 40 seconds to go in the second period. Here comes Holman on a double leg.
Sherritt does a nice job of sprawling out, getting hip pressure, not letting Holman go through.
28 seconds to go in the first period. 2-1 Holman. At Carver Hawkeye, 2010 Iowa in the team score. And John Ostendorf will definitely be favored at heavyweight against Ray Mendoza of Ohio State, who has a 6-6 record. So Holman knows that he's expected to win. He needs to win. Sherritt, however, needs to be going up against these #1 people. There's Mark Coleman, who was a national champion.
Red takes down.
He was Russ Hallockson's first national champion out of Ohio State, and now his assistant.
We're in the second period. The choice was Holman's. He goes under.
Coleman was also represented the United States in the Olympics this summer and placed 7th.
Get up off your side. Get out of there.
Holman did a nice job getting out. He goes right back to work on that double leg, wide double. 3-1 Holman. Now he's been able to stay in there with Sherritt, who often just against physically weaker opponents sometimes just frustrates them by coming at him all the time, and Coleman has been able to attack under him and get around. Came at him with a high crotch, but had to give it up.
Now Sherritt could drop down on that single. Yeah, nice job. He stays in close.
That's one of them. Fleeing the mat.
It's called fleeing the mat. Here comes Russ Hellickson again. He wants to talk about this. He'll get a penalty point unless he talks about interpretation.
He's fleeing the mat. He had someplace else to go. All right? Hey. Both up.
Penalty point for fleeing the mat to avoid a takedown is the score. Is the decision there by Mike Exline. That makes it 3-2 in
and it
favor
could be
of
a big
Holman.
point in this match, Doug.
I said it would potentially a point against the Ohio State team because already Russ Hellickson had been warned. Good low single by Holman in a scramble now to get the takedown.
He came real close to getting a fall.
And he leads with his second takedown, 5-2.
Sherritt's back was real close to being pinned there on the mat, and Holman knew it, and he was trying for that. Got the 2-point takedown.
5-2.
Right here as Holman goes in right there. You see that?
Yeah.
It's close. It's close. It's more than close.
5-2. And here comes Sherritt. With Holman wrestling in the advantage position, but
if Sherritt can do a
underneath.
little swivel hips right here, he can get Holman in trouble. But Holman's a very, very good rider. He's a crab rider and does a nice job there of pulling Sherritt into his lap. And you think you're relaxing, you think you're not in trouble, but see, he pulls him right back where he wants to be.
36 seconds to go in the second period.
And all the time, Rex Holman is building up riding time. Just got it.
He's in solid with
It's
the
over
leg.
a minute now.
5-2 Holman, and he's in the up position here. Iowa leads Ohio State 20-10 after 8 matches. Carver Hawkeye, a big ride there by Holman. And Sherritt, you'll have to go right back to work again in that position because Sherritt will get his choice here, and I'm sure he'll take down. But he's been underneath a minute and 22 seconds. He needs to get out before he can go to work on the feet. Holman ranked #1 against #3 Sherritt.
Sherritt needs to come up.
Oh, he got too high that time and out.
And now he needs to take it to him right now. He can't afford to get on the mat with him anymore.
There's a warning against Holman.
See, that's the way you get after somebody like Rex Holman. You make some of those scores on the end of the mat. You get him penalized for stalling. You get him penalized for fleeing the mat. Now all of a sudden, he's got a hurt leg, and now he's getting real frustrated. And you take advantage of this home crowd. And here's where he comes out. He's able to get his hips away. He's able to come out for one. And now he pushes, he attacks, he drops down to the leg right at the end right here. And Holman's walking off the mat, and the referee calls him for stalling. And he hyperextends the knee, it looks like.
Rex Holman, Upper Arlington High School in Columbus, Ohio. He went away to Arizona State for 2 years and was a Pac-10 champion 1 year. Then came back to Ohio State to wrestle for Russ Hellickson. Sherritt down by 2. Tries to go to the attack here against the Ohio State Buckeye.
He's got to keep the motion going. He can't let Holman slow it down or get an open shot to him right there. He's got to be able to now not only stop him, but score.
And there is the push out of bounds. Sherritt aggressive.
Sherritt's got time right here to get Holman hit through stalling if he'll keep the pressure on. And when you can keep the pressure on, you create things. When you create things, you can score.
1 minute and 20 to go.
He needs to keep pushing right here. Holman's kind of, yeah, look at that.
I came around, he shucked him by, and he has the takedown and ties the score at 5-all. That is Sherritt's first takedown.
Right here, look at, he pushes, he drops him down, snaps the head, posts the arm around there, and comes around for 2.
There is riding time here for Holman that Sherritt hasn't erased yet. But Sherritt's going to let him go anyway.
And he can't let Holman in. He's got to put the pressure on. He's got to keep it on him right now. He can't stand around.
So it's actually a 2-point difference here because of the riding time.
Right.
But Sherritt feels powerful on the feet right at the moment. He goes in on the leg.
He's got to cut off.
Scramble, scramble. What'll happen? Holman looks good here.
Holman's going to get the 2 points.
And he has Sherritt on his back. He has him in a cradle. 2, 3. Boy, what a turn.
Sherritt got in on it. It didn't get cut off for the 2 points. Holman was able to use his length. And
Holman isn't going to let go of this cradle. He's like a snapping turtle. And sundown comes, he's going to let go. Now he had to let go. But a big move, a 3-point near fall makes it 11-5.
3-point near fall, Holman.
And Rex Holman, just like he looked when he looked like it was over. He wins with a big final half-minute flurry.
well, I'll tell you what, those are 3 good wins that Ohio State's gotten, but they're 3 go-to-school type matches for Dan Gable and his 3 Hawkeyes.
Rex Holman wins 12-5 over his Hawkeye opponent. It's now 20-13. And the Iowa crowd and Mr. Holman are having a little contest here.
Yeah. Here's the move right here, and man, he's got the cradle tight. He drives it over, and look as he casts over, he gets Sherritt in trouble. Does a nice job with his length, and he nails down the win.
Now we're going to heavyweight with John Ostendorp against Ray Mendoza, and Ostendorp would like to make a pin here in some way, but Mendoza on the edge of the mat is in good position. John threw it a little bit before he had it. John Ostendorp, ranked number 3.
Yeah, the referee's going to stop right now because...
I already gave you a warning. I understand. I want your kid to stay down in his chair, right? He doesn't need to listen. Hey. All right, that's your second one. Now get your kids in his chair. That's the second one. Let's go.
Second warning.
Ready?
Against the Ohio State bench. Ostendorp against Mendoza with a 20-13 7-point lead for Iowa.
It almost makes you speechless.
Mike Exline is the official.
Let's go, man.
Ray Mendoza is wrestling as the heavyweight for Ohio State. There's a terrific freshman apparently in the Ohio State room named Luke Fickle.
Nice high crotch by Mendoza comes in. Nice reaction by Ostendorp.
But he's being redshirted. The decision was made actually just before they came out here.
You know, when Russ came back out and talked to Exline, his only response to Exline telling him to keep his kids down and keep their mouths shut and keep them off the mat was, "You've just missed a lot of calls. You've missed a lot of calls." Hey, you just got to get in there and wrestle. I mean, you know, you've got to be tougher than the referee. The referee can't beat you. And like we talked at the start of the program, there's a lot of individual talent on Ohio State's team. Team isn't gelling, and sometimes when things don't go right, you just kind of fall apart. That seems like what happened to Ohio State tonight versus adversity. They've actually had some nice matches here in the last 4, and they should build on that. But Russ was a little upset and not so willing to abide by what Mike Exline asked him to do.
And Mendoza has wrestled pretty well against Ostendorp so far too. Here comes Mendoza. He has had a hand injury. That's Russ Hellickson. Here's what's happened so far. 118 pounds. The first 2 matches were technical falls. One-way end first for Iowa, then at 126 for Ohio State. That 34-pound match was a good one, but Troy Steiner won it 11-6 over Yates. And then McIlravy up a major decision there to put Iowa in the lead. Things began to go for Iowa. They really went that way at 150 for Steiner. Technical fall. Then Ohio State did better in the second half. Schick beat Weber in overtime on a great counter. Narum shut out Scavuzzo. Randleman beat Stiltner in overtime. And we're at 190 pounds. Holman on a takedown and near fall in the last minute finished very well to maintain his #1 ranking by defeating #3 Joel Sherritt 12-5. As we see Ray Mendoza here preparing to go back out against John Ostendorp. Remember that tomorrow night at 9 o'clock we'll have Iowa at Iowa State in Hilton Coliseum, the home of the Cyclones, the first meeting of the 2 coachings as members of the Iowa teams, Dan Gable and Bobby Douglas. Ostendorp, senior from Nichols, Iowa, West Liberty High School, placed 5th in the NCAA last year after winning a Big Ten championship, and Mike Exline says, warning both ways. There's a takedown.
What a low-level duck under. Wow, that was slick.
Actually, it's should be 3-0 now if there's a warning. Well, the warning was against the coach. It was not against the wrestlers. Warning both ways, and then immediately Ostendorp took Mendoza down. 2-0.
You know, one thing that Russ Ellickson mentioned is that they've been so focused on the Big Tens.
There's a warning against Mendoza, and that's actually a penalty this time. 3-0 in favor of the Big O.
They've been so focused on the Big Tens and the NCAAs that possibly that's where his wrestlers will flourish and come alive, and that's what he's hoping for.
End of the first period, 3-0 Ostendorf.
Here's Ostendorf. Look at that. Look at that duck under. Low level, comes around. Beautiful job. You don't see that by many heavyweights.
Ray Mendoza, one of many, many wrestlers to come from the famous wrestling prep school, as it turns out, Blair Academy. Reversal for Ostendorf.
Ostendorf has that kind of explosion that Kevin Randleman does, you know. He can hit it any time, and he can hit it hard.
Mendoza.
Seconds. Cut the time.
Ray Mendoza. He has another complaint that gives him trouble sometimes. He has asthma, and it's in sometimes that troubles him in competition. Mendoza. What's troubling him the most right now is the man on top of him here, John Ostendorf, who leads 5-0.
I think one thing people can keep in mind is that the Big Ten championships are in Columbus, Ohio. The Big Tens will be in the home of Ohio State this year, and that has to be to advantage, and they'll be wrestling in front of their home crowd.
5-0, 45 seconds into the second period. Ostendorf bars the arm. Now he doesn't have Mendoza broken down here anymore. Now he does. Things are happening kind of in slow motion now. Mendoza gets to his feet, but he doesn't have hand control, so that's where it goes back, right back to where it was before. 5-0. 30 seconds to go, second period. Iowa leads Ohio State 20-13 in the heavyweight match. As we come to the heavyweight, there's another penalty against the bottom man.
Ostendorf trying to get the arm bars to work right here. He's got the leg hooked up, and he's trying to underhook under the elbow to try to pull Mendoza back into the old
the old guillotine. I'll Turk him the other way. You can hear Mendoza go oof on the bottom.
I think that might have been Ostendorf going.
Was it
top?
Somebody did. 6-0 is his score. There's Ray Mendoza. He started out his career at Wilkes University and then transferred to Ohio State. He's a senior in eligibility. That didn't work. He went under. And he bailed out rather than let Mendoza bailed out rather than let Ostendorf throw him. 8-0. 8-1, I should say, after the escape, earlier escape.
John Ostendorf getting in better condition all the time, and that's what he really needs to do. I mean, the conditioning's going to be play a big role in John Ostendorf's success at the Big Tens and the NCAAs, and I think that he's getting in better condition all the time. Needs to cut off for a double right here. Finish that. He does. He cuts off and covers the hips for 2 points. Really looking pretty good here, John Ostendorf. Like I said, his conditioning is looking good, and he's driving hard.
And again, the call is against the man on the bottom. That makes it 11-1. That's 2 points this time. 12-1. Ostendorf romping on Mendoza with 45 seconds to go, and Iowa has now salted away the team victory. 12-2 after the escape.
One
14-2.
more time for these 9 Iowa seniors performing in the Iowa Scarlet.
Well, proud you cheering right now for the 9 seniors that are
Including John Ostendorf, wrestling for the last time here.